Happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome to another chamber check-in episode from Idaho's only five-star accredited chamber. Today, I'm honored to be able to feature a 10-year chamber member. It's Innovate Geotechnical, and I have the founder and CEO with us today, Seth Olsen. I'm going to bring him on stage. Hi, Seth.
Hey, Paul, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for
Good.
carving out some time. I know you're slammed.
Yeah, no worries.
Hey Seth, we do these live check-ins with our members to help us share our member stories, kind of how they got their start, and then I love sharing about the people. But first, let me brag on you a little bit, Seth. You've been a member for 10 years with Innovate Geotech, and you also chair our transportation committee, which I think you've been chairing that thing for how many
I'm,
years?
yeah, I'm not even sure anymore. I think it's been maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 years, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we love having you there. You preside over the meetings very well, and thanks for all the content that you bring to that group. It's really great.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So, Seth, for those that don't know what Innovate Geotechnical is, um, tell us a little bit about the company. Like, how did it get started? When did it start? And then we'll dive into some of the products and services.
Okay. No, that sounds good. So Innovate Geotechnical was something like it's an office that I started 10 years ago. And it was something that I always kind of wanted to do. I've been an engineer in the geotechnical world for quite a while. And in the Valley, I've worked with a few firms, and I just have always wanted to open my own thing and wanted to do my own thing. And about 10 years ago, that opportunity came up. And so I jumped on it. And so just opened an office here actually initially for a regional firm and then bought that office from them is kind of how it played out. But yeah, it's been a fun ride and I still enjoy it, kind of running the show. Yeah.
So well, I have a personal experience. We were having a construction project done at our home, our personal home, my wife and I, and you came out and gave us the soil certificate or a sign off for the city.
Yeah.
Um, Tell us a little bit about some of your services so that people really understand how to do business with you and how to refer you.
So a lot of what we do is just revolves around construction, a lot of it does new construction, whether that's a commercial building or a roadway or a bridge. Like we get involved with ACHD and sometimes the transportation department. Also, developers will also get involved when there's a new phase of a development being done, and so we work with a number of different clients, but we also work like you described with homeowners, with residential homeowners for projects that they might need for their, whether it's an addition or a new home but we also get involved in some other pretty interesting things with like forensic evaluations where there are some issues at a house, like, hey, we're seeing these cracks or they're not sure what's happening. And so we've often done evaluations where we'll come in and try to determine what might be causing it and some remediation and other issues that they can look for. We've also been involved in some of the renewable energy projects around some of the solar projects and wind farms, just depending on those projects and when they come around. So we work on a lot of different things. Wherever there's the built environment gets connected to the ground, we're somewhere in there, and we're happy to help in any way that we can.
So really, the integrity of the ground underneath. Obviously, you probably work a lot with, obviously with the transportation committee, ACHD, Idaho Transportation Department, ITD, probably helping them figure out, hey, can we build something on this road or not?
Right. Yeah. And a lot of it is, it's a lot of the initial evaluation is done on our end where we'll go in initially, especially for new roadways, where we're just looking at, if there are any concerns based on the soils that we find, maybe the alignment of the road should be over here, or even in rehabilitation projects when, we want to look at the consistency and the integrity of the existing road and tell them, hey, maybe you want to look at this alternative for making this road better. And so there's a lot of different ways that we get involved to try to give them recommendations on how to improve the roadway.
Hey, how are you helping with agriculture clients? Help me understand a little bit about that.
So we don't do a lot with agriculture. Yeah, I mean, because so much of that is more of a near surface soils and a soil
Okay.
scientist type of thing, where
Okay.
they're more interested in the nutrients of the soils, not so much in the the strength and the structural capacity of those soils. And so we typically don't get involved, other than we have been involved on a few projects when there's some major regrading, for some agricultural projects, whether they're changing the elevations of some fields, or they have a new site that they want to create this, level it off so they can do agriculture. But other than that, we typically don't get involved. Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned projects, and I wanted to help the listeners understand and myself understand a little bit more. What would we see out in the market that you've had a hand in? Like, what are some of the past projects and maybe some of the current projects you're working on?
So there's a few around the valley. We really kind of do work across Idaho and then regionally as well. And so we do work a fair amount out away from this area, but some of the local things. So the first project that I ever actually worked on when I opened the office was the Panera Bread right on Franklin by the mall.
Oh,
And so that was my first project,
awesome.
10 years ago. And so that was what we worked on there. And then there's been a number of other projects, like we've done a New York Canal Bridge project out by the airport. And then we work with a number of different developers like Avamore or Boise Hunter Homes, some of their developments and things that they've done. And then also just some other kind of St. Luke's projects and Amazon warehouse projects where we've been involved and done a number of different things there. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot. And hey, how many are on your team?
So I have two of us full time, and then we have a number of part time individuals depending on what we need to get done. Yeah.
Okay. And where's your office located?
We're out in Meridian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Um, Tell me a little bit about your history and background, Seth, that got you started into being and a soil engineer, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, so I actually didn't really think going in. After I grew up in the valley over in Ontario, not too far away. And then at the time when I was thinking about going to college, Boise State didn't really have an engineering program. It was kind of that transition from a junior college to a
Right.
university, and so I ended up going to Utah State to study civil engineering there, and they had and I was studying structural engineering, not soils at the time, through my bachelor's degree. And then I got an internship at a firm that did structural and geotech, and they had more work on the geotech side. You're like, hey, do you want to work on that? I'm like, sure, I don't care. I was just a college student wanting to do work, and ended up enjoying it so much that I switched what I wanted to do for my master's degree, and it ended up in geotechnical engineering. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And made Boise your home. How
Yeah.
come Boise?
Yeah, so we came back. So I still have a lot of family in the area. I grew up here, so I have siblings and parents and others that live in the area. And so we actually moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico for a few years right after I graduated, just because that's where a job offer was. And I had a brother down there. I'm like, sure, I'll go try it out. And then just had an opportunity to move here to the Treasure Valley a few years later. And so it's really been fantastic living back in this area, and I've always loved it, and will always love it, I'm sure. Yeah.
That's great. So Innovate Geotechnical is here in the Valley, in Meridian, your office, the global headquarters. Um, just the
Yeah.
one office, but you service the whole entire Pacific Northwest, and I bet you'd go work where anybody calls you, right?
Yeah, I mean, it really is just wherever we have a license, then we'll go do that work, right? Because we are, professional engineers, then we do need to go where we have a license. But other than that, yeah, it's wherever we can find that work.
I have your website scrolling on the bottom of the screen here, Seth. I'd encourage anybody who wants to learn more about what Innovate's all about. They've got some great, they have a great portfolio of work, lots of images of what they've done and what they're working on. Seth, is there anything else while we have you that you'd like to educate the public on?
I don't think so. No, I just really appreciate the chamber and all that they do and all that you do, Paul, as far as really just promoting business and encouraging us all to continue to push forward in this great area that we live and the opportunities that it gives us to live here. It's fantastic.
Awesome, Seth. Well, we can't thank you enough for your investment over the last 10 years. You chairing the transportation committee. We just love having you. Have a great weekend, Seth.
Thank you. Appreciate it.